Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to session five of the Lyceum Project. We are here on this wonderful Sunday morning, picking up where we left off in the guild hall. A couple of our members have left for personal reasons slash personal opportunities, and as the group was sort of parting ways and saying their goodbyes, a pair of guild members had approached their table and started chatting them up a little bit. And we kind of let it hang there so we could properly introduce our two new players. So, before we get started, as always, we like to remind everyone that we are proudly sponsored by World Anvil, which has everything that you need to start creating and building your world. You can sign up for free and get started right away at worldanvil.com. You can also join their Discord at the links that we normally post in chat. It's easy to find. Love that site. I do all my world building on there. Aegon does all his world building on there. It's a great site. We do a ton of fun stuff there. And then we always extend our thanks to Roll20 for their generous support. They provide us with a pro account and core books, so I can show you guys maps here in this middle bit of the screen every once in a while. So we will allow our two new players to introduce themselves and then introduce your characters, kind of describe what they look like, what the other people at the table are seeing as you approach, and then we'll kind of get the ball rolling from there.
Who goes first? Do I go? You go?
I'm happy to do whatever. If
You go
wanna
first.
you go. I'll go
You go
first.
first.
Okay. So first of all, I'm Thorn, Thorn or Cameron. I don't mind either. But as the two of us approach, you see that there is a pallid elf who's wearing sort of surprisingly bright clothing that's covered with a dark sort of cloak as such. The clothing is like a mix of sort of beiges and light blues, sort of like a sky blue, and then like a pastel pink as well. Their skin tone is sort of like a metallic pink sort of color, quite pastel as well. Long sort of pale, slightly blondish hair, flopped over onto one side. He's quite tall and has these charcoal color eyes, sort of beaming smile on his face as he sort of proudly steps forward. He doesn't seem to speak at first, letting his compatriot make the introductions as such, but he stands there and you notice that he's got two sort of short swords sheathed at the hip, and they're quite brazenly sort of displayed, as almost as though it's like a factor of these are my weapons. I show them because I can use them. So that is Amir.
And I'm Eric, or Bunk. Usually just go with Eric. It's like I pretty much haven't actually gone by my username in a long time. And I am playing Gregory Other, who is he is a human Eldritch Knight. He's got sort of medium wavy brown hair, green eyes, and he's got a sentinel shield. So it's a shield with like an eye brazen right on it, and he's got some goggles of night as well. Right now they're just sort of like hanging from his neck because it's the middle of the day. He doesn't need dark vision at this particular moment, but he's ready to throw them on anytime that it gets a little dark. And see that he comes up and he's got something. He has a little bag in his hand. So he comes up. Yeah, hi. So yeah, right. You guys are the ones that sort of helped out with that fire, right? You know, the one over the Griffin Keep. Yeah. So, yeah, I was over there. By the way, this is my familiar here, Cricky. He's actually the one who let me know that there was a fire. And hold on, let me pull this up. I prepared for this and I forgot to pull it up. Hold on.
Unprofessional. Can't believe
Unprofessional. Unprofessional.
Kim,
I'm sorry.
I can't work with this. I can't work like this, Kim. I can't work like
There we
this.
go.
I'm sorry.
The scandal.
How terrible.
Here we go.
No,
Here we go. Here we go.
No.
And he told me by going like this.
Oh, jeez.
I forgot to turn on the volume because he's a raven. He can do that.
Sure.
Pretty
Anyway, I had that prepared. I
Okay.
forgot to pull it up. That's on me. Anyway, so I showed up. You guys had already left. I decided that I would help, sort of, move some rubble around. And I found this, and Gregory opens up this little baggie that he has, and out comes. All right, so let me pull up exactly what Kim said that I found here. Go here. So that is equipment. There it is. It was under bag of evidence. There we go. Bits of a shattered gem, not enough to reassemble, but there seems to be a bit of marker's mark on some of the bits. If you just jigsaw it back together, ... So it's this sort of gem that's got some sort of markings on it. I found it underneath some rubble.
Sorry, Kim, can I work out what sort of gem it is? Since I'm a forge cleric, I would presumably have some knowledge of gems. Do I know what kind?
Like the type of gem, like the material that it's made out of?
Yeah, like whether it's like, I don't know, like ruby, diamond, etc. Because that could probably narrow things down.
Oh, yeah.
Care-
From the reddish hue of the bits and pieces that are there, it looks like it would be a ruby of some kind.
Kara reaches out and takes the bag and puts it on the table. Good job, kid.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
Well, it's some kind of, probably like a ruby, so that sort of narrows down at least some about it. Might be able to work out where it's from if I know more.
You go.
No one has a mending spell, do they?
No, unfortunately not. I'm very limited in the magic that I can do.
Same here. Amir, by the way. It's nice to meet you all.
Good to meet you.
Right, yeah, sorry. I don't think I actually introduced myself. Gregory Other.
Good to meet you. Care. Then she goes back. She starts pushing the little pieces together. Is there a way she can start trying to put it together?
Sure. There's bits missing. Let's see. So, let me take a look real quick. I'm gonna say you can do either sleight of hand for sort of how deftly you fit the pieces together, or you can go investigation for trying to like look at where the faceting of the pieces are and see what kind of jigsaw action you can get.
Well, neither of them are my greatest. Does anyone want to give me a hand with this? Maybe give me an advantage.
I brought it over.
Give
I'll
you
give you
a
a help
hand?
action.
Sure, I'll help. Do I have to roll to give advantage, or?
No, if you're collaborating on it, one of you can roll the check with advantage.
I'll do an investigation. I got a +6 in investigation. Right. Hang on.
Oh, you gotta
Great.
be kidding me.
Great. Not great. I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Good stuff.
I rolled
Not all day, apparently.
It's
I did roll a 22 athletics to find this, but
I need new dice for this thing because these ones do not like me at all.
So apparently a recurring theme with my campaigns. The dice hate my players. I don't know why. I apologize.
I have one set of physical dice that's really lucky. Unfortunately, they're my DM's dice, so I have to fudge half my rolls to make credit to my players.
maybe. Dang
So
it.
you struggle with it for a while, trying to sort of
We
jigsaw
we
what you
shrined up
can.
the silver monkey it.
Yeah, and it's just not seeming to fit together in any substantial way. It was a decent size, not a huge ruby, but it was, like a decent size ruby. So a chunk missing out of the middle of a 3-dimensional ruby is gonna make it hard to kind of slot things into place. You're doing a lot of guesswork, and there are bits that would technically have to float because all surrounding bits are missing and all that kind of nonsense. Because unfortunately, he did not get all of the pieces. He got some of the pieces, and it was all scattered under the debris of the keep collapsing in on itself and blah blah blah. So you only got some of it. So you don't get a whole lot out of trying to jigsaw it back together. There, let me take one more look, see if I can throw you a bone.
1 and a 2. Mm.
It was some real rough.
I'm glad that technically 22 athletics was the first thing that I rolled.
Yeah.
I've changed my dice. All right.
So you do get kind of a vague impression that between the two of you, the rolls are just too low. I can't fudge out that much. You don't really find anything, and you can tell that there's a maker's mark on there, but there's not enough assembled to really get a feel for what the image is supposed to be.
All right, so I turn my evidence bag inside out and try to shake out any missing pieces. Nothing.
I guess
cool.
I guess I can't really use detect magic if it's already broken.
Yeah, the magic would be dissipated out of it if it was.
Yeah, maybe an art. Yeah, that wouldn't work. I don't know. Kara's just starting to get frustrated. She's poking it back and forth, and she checks her book, and she pokes it a bit more, and then she checks her book, and she pokes it a bit more, and then she just slams her hand down, and the
hey!
Oh, stupid thing! Oh, I'm gonna go get a drink. Anyone else want one?
I would love one.
Someone give me access to message.
Can I have something with caffeine, please?
I could go for a coffee as well. And I scoop the ruby pieces back into my bag.
Wait, hey.
Care messages Noon. What?
Okay. Noon is gonna contact their bearer and see if they could maybe look into the gem and learn anything.
Oh, you mean
Zip, yeah. Because Zip becomes...
Message is only 120 feet.
Shit. How far am I from my fucking mom?
Very.
Kim.
Very, very
Damn
far.
it. Someone help me get in contact with fucking mom.
Care is going to head to the bar. And she's going to order a number of drinks. So, is there a bartender there?
Yes, there is. Erwinin is the tavern keeper / guild master for this hall. This is your first time interacting with her, so let me give you a little blurby. Let's see. She is the hall master. She's high elf, about 5'5", very sort of glamorous features to her face. Looks like she may have been a bard before she settled into her role as a hall master for the guild. She has plaited hair pinned up, very sort of type A personality, very organized, and it's why she's running the hall. She's got that very sort of functional business runner kind of attitude. So you come up to her, you order a round of drinks for the table, people's selection, things like that. We'll send them over in a minute or two. There's some bar staff and things that can make the run for you.
That's not... You wouldn't happen to have some information, would you?
What kind of information are you in need of?
We're looking for someone that might specialize in gems, magical or otherwise.
Gems. Let me think. Any particular kind of gem that you're looking for? You're looking for someone to make it, or you're looking to have it appraised? What kind of gem work are you requiring?
Appraisal or investigation. We think we may have a lead on the fire.
Oh, the lead on them. Okay. Let me think on it for a minute. I'll see what I can send over with your drinks.
I'll be over there. And Kara's just gonna nod and say thank you and head back to her table.
Back at the table, at this point, Amy has just taken the liberty of sitting down with the rest of them.
Yeah. I was about to say I should probably also sit down.
Wait. Has either of them taken that corner spot there, or do they leave it open?
I would have left it open. I'm going to sit on the end.
Okay, because that's the one. That's Kara's spot, and she goes right back to do it so she can put her back up against the wall.
I leave like one or two chairs, however many there are between us, just out of apprehension.
Mm-hmm.
Garnet is still sort of staring into the middle distance, sort of where approximately the bits of ruby were, and she just says, "I should have learned more about gems from me ma."
Yeah, I
the
feel
forge forward, she should know, but she focused on weapons.
Can I see the bit with the maker's mark again?
Yeah, I take the bag back out and keeping an eye on Care, sort of put it a little further away from her.
I see how it is. Anyway,
She almost smashed him.
Kara's mage hand pops up from underneath the gem and just
much
moves
more
it.
smash.
thank you. So Noon is going to pull out a piece of paper and sketch down the maker's mark.
I talked to the guild master. They might have some information about someone who can help us with this.
I'm still gonna send it to my my bearer.
Fair enough. As much information as possible helps.
So, is there mail in universe?
Physical mail, yeah. If you need to like post a letter, you can do that.
Okay.
But
Can I potentially also send this to Garnet's parents? Because one of them works with gems-ish. Well, gem adjacent, sometimes include gems, and the other one's more of a merchant, so they probably might have an idea.
Yeah, if you wanted to post it, you could. The big thing with the Maker's Mark is that you're not sure what the mark is, because you couldn't get it reassembled enough to get a feel for what the image was. So you could sketch the scattered bits of the engraving that you can find on the pieces, but you couldn't assemble it into an image to send to be like, hey, do you know who made this? Because you couldn't get that far on the investigation side of things. But you can sketch down the bits and pieces, the scattered bits and pieces, and be like, hey, does any of this look familiar? And hope for the best. But
so I'll see about setting that mail my parents.
okay. Yeah, physical mail, the best place to do that would be to mail it from City Hall. That's where the central post office for the city is. There's a few scattered little offices about town, but the City Hall is sort of the postmaster general. So you can drop it off there or mail it from there. As long as it's within the Empire, it's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah.
So that won't be too hard. And then do you want to post the physical gem off to your parents, or do you guys want to hold on to that? Or
I think we should hang on to the physical gem. But I think that we should post. We should send out like the images.
Rubbings. They can do rubbings of the gems.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a good idea.
Charcoal rubbings over the top, and then they can get as much of the image as possible, plus the shape of the gem a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Isn't charcoal one of the things that I need for Find Familiar?
It is, yeah. So you would have some on.
So I take out some of that, and I sort of put that on the table as well. You can use that.
Kara would take out some of the spare paper she has.
Somebody else want to do this one? I don't think either of us did very well last time we messed around with this.
What would it come under performance? Or-
Yes, it would be because you're looking to do something artsy.
Oh yes, we
Well-
definitely don't want Kara doing this. Then.
Nope.
I'm not
Same,
much good with.
same.
I have a +4 for performance.
And give it a go.
Give me a sec. There we go.
Hey.
Yes. There we go.
So
It's better than the actual Ruby.
with the a little bit of time and patience, you managed to get enough of the bits that seem to have engravings in them oriented to where you can charcoal them onto the paper and get some good rubbings. And it looks like you've got a good representation of the pieces that you have, order notwithstanding. But you feel like you've got a good solid replica that somebody could potentially work off of if they were trying to work the puzzle for you in your absence.
Looks just like it. Nice job.
I mean, it's a rubbing.
Well,
That's what
Yeah.
she said.
Care, you know.
Okay. So where would you like to go from here? You've got a few different options. You can go, hit the town. You can, aside from mailing out the letters, you can.
Do we get our drinks and information eventually?
Yes, you would. Sorry. Was kind of leaving that off to the side there. So, Erwinin eventually sends over your drinks, and she does point you to a. Where was it? Which one was it? But nope, not that one. It's a cleric. There you go. That's the one. There is a tiefling tinkerer in the guild who happens to be there. Her name is Kiris, and she is this one sitting over here.
What's the, I don't know what this thing is. What's with the monster in the center of the room? Is that supposed to be there?
I needed a dragonborn, and they were
Okay.
they're just an oversized kobold because that's the best token I had for a dragonborn.
Hey, how do I get rid of all these squares? With all our profile pictures on Roll20, it's kind of blocking like half the screen.
If you go into your settings, it's the gear in the top right, and then there should be a. If you scroll down, there's a chat avatar, so you can change to names only.
Oh, that's much better. Okay, there we go.
So this would be Kiris down here. Should have gone ahead and
so you folk here, you helped out earlier, rather. Sorry. How exactly were you so quick? I didn't hear the whole story. I just saw from afar and decided
We were
to.
already on our way back. We were doing a mission for them.
I see. So no one really knows exactly what happened. There was just a spontaneous fire.
I don't know. We haven't really asked.
We did see some suspicious figures over to the tower.
Well, it seems that they're the only two leads, the figures and, well, this gem. Question is, which do we pursue first? The gem seems easiest, but I feel as though, personally, that it doesn't... I don't see how, in the state that it is, unless we had some kind of restoration magic or mending magic or something, which I'm not very advanced in the fields of magic, but I don't see how we can get a true picture. This tinkerer, yes, they may be specialized, but what exactly will we find is the real question.
Well, if we're here already, the Tinkerer is also here. We may as well ask them before we go hunting down leads, considering we're the only people we know that saw them. And I didn't exactly ask for their names when I decided to throw my lightning javelin at them.
Well, I think after
You
that,
don't get
they
to laugh, you
probably
set me
would
on fire.
talk to you. Amy gives a
an
concerned
accident.
look.
It was an.
Someone hasn't read the rules of engagement. Ask names first, then you throw magical weapons.
I'm sorry,
There was
we were
definitely-
concerned about what they were doing, which is all for the best, as they were on their way to the hospital to potentially attack members of the Griffin Riders.
And there was definitely something summoned inside that fire.
The fire elemental?
Yeah, that thing. I wonder if the gem was used to summon it.
That would make sense. Rubies are associated with fire.
Can I roll Arcana to figure out what the physical components to a summon elemental spell is?
Sure. Yeah, you can make an attempt at that.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're not there's a couple of different kinds of summoning, right? There's summoning with intent to control, where they're sort of bound to a totem of some kind, and then there's just summoning and kicking them loose. You know that a summoning with intent to control would have a more elaborate component scheme than this, but if somebody just wanted to stick an elemental in there and deploy it like a grenade, a ruby would be a good base component to work off of. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that would explain why the ruby is consumed.
Can you imagine being the person that has to just launch a ruby into a building and sprint away before the fire elemental gets you? I'm pretty sure
Molotov cocktail.
Mage Hand does
that's that job.
Mage Hand is pretty useful for that kind of thing.
Or it could have been shot out of a cannon.
With care.
Or even I've heard of teleportation magic, or
Well, I can do that.
doors through
You can do
dimensions.
what now?
I can teleport. I can do it right now. I can only do it once per day, but I can teleport. Only 30 feet, but I can teleport. Well, I can Misty Step. It's basically teleportation.
My question isn't so much how we got out then, it's how we got in.
Are we certain that someone went in and went out with this? Could it not have been, say, just a take it in and that's it?
Suicide mission?
Yes, to put it bluntly.
Well, I suppose if you're being very elaborate, you could summon something to take the summoning ruby and take that inside. But only if you're being very elaborate.
Such as
Did
a
you
familiar.
Did you find any bones around the...
Did I find any bones around there,
Joel?
Kim?
No, not really.
Oh, no bones.
I'm thinking most people would do something like this in order to profit for themselves.
So perhaps those other Griffin Riders that have popped up, the ones that the bandits.
Hired goons, maybe?
What if, now this may be far-fetched, but what if this attack was, say, a distraction for something else. I feel as though just letting a fire elemental loose is a bit risky if it's, some coordinated attack or something.
If this is the
So-
diversion, I don't want to know what they did.
Well,
It was definitely coordinated. They were going after the Griffin Riders.
But why would you want to destroy the Griffin Riders? It could be the rivalry of these new Griffin Riders, or perhaps there's something that they can do that other groups can't, that they want to stop.
I am just going to put this out there. This all can be, but if this entire thing is just to sow chaos.
Could be.
Well, if someone's sowing chaos and that's their only reason for doing things, you can't accurately predict what they're going to do next, which makes things much more awkward.
Terrifying, I know.
well, should
Every
we,
creature has a pattern. We just gotta find it.
I suppose that's true, but
Good luck.
for now, shall we investigate that wonderful gem?
Let's do that.
Okay, I suppose we walk over to the tinker and say, hello, are you curious?
Yes, hello. Hi. Kind of onces you over real quick. Fellow guild members, I assume?
Aye.
Garnet motions to her earring.
Kira.
Kira.
So you approach Kiris, you see a tiefling tinkerer, bald, fuchsia skin. Her horns sort of look like earmuffs, the way they kind of like sweep back and then kind of curl.
Oh.
And she, greets you kindly as fellow guild members, and it's just so coming over.
Does
for
she look a
drink
bit like
or
Carrie Fisher?
Maybe a little.
Rick Fisher.
You know, I'm not very subtle, okay? It is what it is. So yeah, so that's Kiris. Kind of like I said. Just are you joining me for a drink? Is that what this is, or?
Maybe another time. We do have business that we'd like to ask you about. See, that fire that these fine folks actually stop. Well, at least mitigate. Well, I found this in the rubble, and we can't seem to make heads or tails of it. We think that maybe this was used to summon the fire elemental, and I hand him over the bag, and I take out the bag, and I sort of once again lay that out on the table, and see if maybe if they can make better heads or tails of it than we could.
All right. Let's see here. What are we gonna do for this? They will give it a once over. You said you think it was tied to a fire elemental?
That's our running theory. It was found in the rubble of the keep after a fire elemental attack. We're just going off of what we can sort of deduce on our own, but we're not really getting much headway because we can't really sort of piece the pieces back together all that great.
Okay. Let's see. We're gonna do this and this.
I feel like it should be something I'd be able to do, but
So, kind of takes out some of the toolkits that she has on her and busts out one of those little triple zoom monocle deals and all that kind of fun gadgetry, and sort of leans into this project a bit. So you can tell that seems to be making okay-ish progress on this. There's some guesswork going on that's kind of apparent, as well as she's trying to hide it. You can tell that there's some like in going on as it works through it, and I can tell you, well, can't 100% the elemental theory. It's not my field of expertise. I know
Hmm.
rubies are common for that sort of thing, but I couldn't this specific one I couldn't tell you for sure. But this engraving here, it looks you can't make out the whole thing. There's a big chunk missing out of the middle here. Is this all you managed to find of it?
This is all I was able to find. It might have been. It might have made its way across the room under a different piece of rubble, but I found these all mostly close together.
Well, it looks like it's detailing like a broken chain of some kind. You can see there's this couple of links, and one of them sort of smashed a bit. It kind of turns it towards you a bit, so you can see what she's piecing together. And like you see, it looks like a couple of loopies, and then there's this one kind of like shatters out in the middle there. Never seen a mark like that. Not sure who would claim responsibility for that, but yeah, that's looking like what you're working with.
Does the chain or that sort of symbol that she pointed out, does it have any sort of religious sort of imagery? Can I make a check for that?
Kara's going to slip them a piece of paper so they can kind of draw what it looks like, so they can get a proper idea of what the image looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, can I make a religion check to see if it?
Yeah. Sorry, I was waiting for it to come through.
Oh.
Okay. So you are fairly confident that that wouldn't be religious iconography. Like there's a few sort of gods that have sort of like chains and binding and those kinds of extremes in their pantheon, but this specific design doesn't ring any bells for you in a religious context.
Well, it's certainly not religious. It's not the symbol of any god that I'm aware of. So we can rule that one out.
Maybe it's like an organization. I don't know. It's definitely symbolic of something.
Perhaps a cult more than a religion.
Yeah.
The only difference between religions and cults is whether or not it's socially acceptable to be in one.
Yes, but that's not the point we're going for here, as you said that directly to a cleric.
I'm just saying, because my bear was part of a cult.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for this, Kios. Hopefully this will help us in our investigations.
Yes, glad I could be of at least some help. Do keep me posted if you learn who made this. I'd certainly be interested.
Of course. And I scooped the ruby pieces back up into the bag, double checking to make sure I got all of them, just in case that all this constant looking is what made me lose a piece.
Kara is going to hand over 5 gold for services rendered.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Happy to be of help to fellow guild members. We're all in this together, aren't we? And the pockets to 5 gold. Like it's one of those things where they're very much like, oh no, but they're very much reaching for it at the same time.
Well, I don't know about you, but I am rather exhausted since I've been working endlessly in the hospital all day. But so I might retire, but hopefully.
What time is it about? Sorry.
At this point, given everything that you did with the fire in the early hours of the morning, and then the follow-up, sort of getting the fire out, investigation, scattering out to do some. You had lunch in the tavern and things like that. It's now more in the evening hours. You're looking like a post-dinner kind of a time frame.
Yeah, so I think Garnet at least is going to head to bed because she is absolutely exhausted. But perhaps we can continue our search and ask some questions in the morning.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
I agree. You guys had a very long day. I wouldn't want to try to have you guys overexert yourselves. That would be rude of me, honestly.
Yes, I think some time to reflect on all this is also well needed. So a good night's rest might be well in order.
And of course, since we're all going to sleep anyway, I just Misty Step just to prove that I can teleport.
There is one thing I'd like to do before heading to bed. If that's what we're about to do. If not, I can hold on a second. I'd like to go over to the Dragonborn that we passed earlier,
Mhm.
and kind of sit opposite, without even asking, and simply say, "So, there was a terrible fire earlier. Happen to know anything about it?"
So,
You deliberately saying that to sound accusatory because that's what it sounds like to me.
does sound a little.
Did you start the fire?
He kind of leans forward.
It's always
The drink
burning
from
since the
earlier
world's
is still
been
in his
turning.
hand.
So
At this point, Gregory is so glad that he Misty stepped away from this conversation.
you sit down unannounced and uninvited in front of this Dragonborn, and they kind of eye you over. This set of piercing green eyes kind of wants you up and down as you pour into your question, and just what's been passed around town. The keep was ablaze, collapsed in on itself. Lots of people hurt. The usual sort of rumor mill stuff. What's it to you?
It's just I had a friend who was injured in the incident, and it's made me realize my own mortality. How any of us can be snuffed out so easily. It's just these people that did this. They should be careful, because not only have they angered the folks that were attacked, but also those connected to them. And well, it's just it's the duty of everyone in this empire to make sure that things like this don't go unsort of answered, I suppose. And I was just hoping that I could do my part and ask you a simple question. Make sure I understand the rumors as they are. That's all. I kind of just stare at him for a moment, take a sip of my drink. I kind of stand up and go, well, thank you. That is all. Sorry for troubling you. And I flip him or them a gold piece.
I'll just throwing money around.
Somehow they're the rich ones.
And just say, sorry for troubling you. And the kind of the dark charcoal eyes of Amir kind of pierce through. Can I make an insight check to see if what they were saying, the sort of run-of-the-mill sort of rumor, was precisely what they actually know, or whether they were trying to hide something?
Sure.
Okay. I need to make roll 1d20 plus 8. I have advantage on insight checks. So that would be a 25.
Yeah, they seem to be on the level. They're dismissive because you weren't exactly polite in how you approached it, but what they seem to be telling you seems truthful as best you can read.
I kind of bow slightly, and then, do we have rooms already assigned, or would I need to purchase one? Or are they
You've been
free
in
for guild members?
you've been in town. You get like a guild rate, but you do still have to pay room and board type stuff. Yeah, you've been in town for a while, so you have rooms that you've been staying in. Apparently,
All
my
right.
volume is super, super low for some reason. Is that better over the stream? Apparently, my volume is super low for some reason.
We can hear you just fine.
I think she's asking the stream.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm saying it's definitely stream side, not mic side.
Don't do that. I have to figure that out. I don't know why. It seems like it's up nice and high, but maybe not. Yeah. Anyway, so if there's nothing else anybody wants to squeeze in, you'll have a night's rest, wake up the next morning, ready to tackle a new day. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so everybody can hit their long rest button in D&D Beyond, get all your spells and health and anything else back, and then you wake up the next morning.
I could get the one spell I used back.
Yeah.
Just to show off.
All thoughts I've missed you.
So you wake up the next morning. There's it's hustle and bustle at breakfast time, right? Everybody's sort of getting up and getting ready to go about their day. So you find yourselves a table, settle in, order some breakfast, order some drinks, that kind of stuff. You have the opportunity to kind of plot out your day, decide your next moves, and then hit the town and do some sleuthing or whatever else you'd like to do.
Suppose we should go around canvassing and asking people questions.
Sounds good. I'm gonna head to City Hall to mail this just in case.
Can you mail this to me while you're there as well, please? And
Sure.
another letter.
I guess you could say interrogated that Dragonborn.
Well,
Yeah, I
Why?
saw that. That was interesting to watch.
I think I might have been a bit provocative.
Came on a little too strong there, I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
no.
Why did you interrogate them?
I don't know, something just center of the room, table on their own. It just seemed a bit odd to me. No one,
Just a
if they're sitting
loner,
alone,
dude.
if they're
Just
sitting
a
alone,
loner.
they never sit in the center. That's
Just leave
just a
the
fact.
people up.
Are they supposed to take?
through what you were saying?
The best hunters look like the best prey.
Are they supposed to take their food back to their room, like just because they don't have any friends?
What I meant was more that usually, unless you're waiting for someone, if you're sitting alone, you tend to sit near the edge of the room. Sitting in the center, at least to me, is
Well, perhaps
slightly
he sat
odd.
there earlier and was still there when everyone else had left.
I suppose I overlooked that fact.
Also, that's potentially my bad for not describing the scene well enough for you. With maps like this, I tend not to fully populate them with a ton of filler NPCs and things like that. I just sort of drop in the ones that you can interact with and sort of imply, it's an active tavern. There's people hanging
Yeah.
out, having drinks, having food. But I forgot to do the imply part. So they weren't.
So
they
to
weren't
us,
like
it just
the
looked
only
like he was
three
being kind of
people.
racist.
Yeah. Which Noon
No,
was
it
gonna bring
wasn't
up.
like that.
Noon was gonna bring that up potentially.
Yeah, they weren't like the only 3 people in the entire tavern. It was just those were sort of potential people that you could engage with. That's why I dropped them on there with their specific tokens.
My mistake for not clarifying that. So,
No,
I do
that's
apologize.
I should have made it clearer because it gets really busy and cluttered if you just start dropping NPC town
Yeah.
folk all over the place. So I tried not to, because otherwise you're like, okay, who out of these 60 something people can we talk to?
I assume they were still on the table on their own, though.
Yes, they were sitting on their own.
Yeah.
But the place wasn't abandoned. It was. I will do better about making that clear for you. But yeah, so sorry. Go.
It's quite alright. It's just previous experience with, lone table sitters, I guess you could call them, has made me overly cautious, that's all.
Have you not also been a lonely table sitter before? I know I have.
I don't tend to sit around taverns and bars for very long, and if it is, it's usually at the bar itself that I would stay, personally.
I can't remember the word I want to use, but it's basically the word I want to use. If anyone remembers it, it's basically just calling someone a weak ass bitch for not wanting to party. So if any of you remember that word,
Responsible adults.
You could just say my name, but it would work just well.
Nice try. No one in here does that.
Well, I suppose we should get going.
Time to ask people some questions.
Is the Dragonborn still here? Or did he stay overnight, or did they stay overnight, or is it just
They did, yeah. As a fellow member of the guild, they are also staying here. You don't spot them at any of the tables while you're having breakfast. They may have gotten an early start, or they may still be sleeping in. You don't know, but they're not in the room at present.
But by the way, do any of us actually know the Dragonborn's name?
Nope, nobody asked.
That's probably going to be a mistake.
We get around to introducing all of my characters.
I 100% agree.
Telling them, so for all they know, I'm just a random person whose name they don't know that they're just too embarrassed to ask about at this.
Yeah, it's good times, good times. Could never possibly bite you in the butt later. Why would that be a thing?
I very much left that conversation before it got weird. I have an hour.
Yes, Care is going to head off to some less savory parts of the city with a copy of that symbol.
Yeah, Garnet's probably going to head to the hospital and the various injured people who got injured in the fire, what they saw before, if they recognize the symbol, etc.
Okay.
I think Gregory's gonna go with Garnet.
I think Amos turns to Care and says, "Mind if I join you? I have some experience in the, as you said, more unsavory areas. I'll try not to be provocative. I'll let you take the lead."
Might be better if you do talking. And she just nods her head, or jerks her head to come with.
Very
What
well.
about you, Noon?
Noon's going to the post office.
That's a good point, yes.
Remember?
So as you're kind of finishing up breakfast and settling in on your plans and splitting up for the day, Erwin flags for one of you to come over. Whoever wants to be the volunteer.
I'll head over.
Okay.
I'll get
Didn't catch any of that. You were all broken up.
my wire stuck in.
Nope, still all broken up.
Uh-uh.
I think her Wi-Fi's gone.
Oh no. tell me that.
Frozen.
Oh, that's no good. Hopefully we will get B back here in a second. So Garnet, you answer the flag over, and Irwin lets you know that I know you jumped in on the fire, and everyone appreciates. It always looks good for the guild when we render assistance in those kinds of situations.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay.
Um,
The Wi-Fi's like, I don't know what's going out or what's going on, but my Wi-Fi is like fluctuating wildly.
okay. But she lets you know, or she reminds you that as we don't know the cause of it yet, to be very careful. If this was an act of war, the guild's neutrality policy is going to come into play. So if you're going to be involved in this, tread carefully is kind of the warning until we get more information on who did this and why.
Thank you for the warning. I'll make note of that. Thank you.
It's good to see you doing some good and being involved in the city. Just watch yourselves.
Thank you very much.
But then she lets you go, wishes you well, good luck, have a great day. Best of luck, best of hunting, all that kind of fun positivity. And then you scatter out throughout the city. What were you trying to get across there, B, before your Wi-Fi fritzed?
I was just saying that I was thinking that I would be the one to go over because Noon has such high charisma, and it's always best to send the high charisma person to talk to people. Which is why I was surprised about give me a sec. Gregory going and or no, not Gregory. Amir going and talking to strangers for any reason, especially to be racist, even if on accident.
That wasn't the intention.
It wasn't the intention, but that's what I'm
accusing him.
But that's why. But that's I think why maybe Noon should be the one to talk to people. So that, we don't accidentally racist again.
Aim is not allowed to talk to strangers. New group rule.
Yeah, I
Group
think
rule.
that's a good rule.
Agree.
I mean, I think.
Oh.
And Care can't do jigsaw puzzles either.
Absolutely valid.
Care can't do jigsaw puzzles or talk to people.
Yeah, there is a small chunk of ruby in the lost and found box here in the guild hall. You'll never know it.
We found it on the table. People who aren't allowed to talk to other people to go talk to other people together.
Yep. It's a good
That's your mistake.
To be fair, it's going to be less talking and more threatening.
That's true. I'm sure you'll have loads of some of that.
Okay, so we are gonna.
I'm gonna send Cricky over with them just to maybe give a help action. So Cricky's going with them.
So Noon's heading to State Hall to file out the letters. Garnet and Gregory, we're gonna head over to the hospital to do some poking around there. That kind of go like that. And then it's Amir, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Amir and Care are looking for some shady-ish parts of town to inquire as to if anybody recognizes the symbol, knows anything about it, who it might be, all that kind of fun stuff, yeah? Okay. So we're gonna just kind of make that the sort of lower income region of the city for just kind of organizational purposes. And
Care's looking basically for two groups. She's looking for basically she's looking for some thieves and she's looking for Beggar's Row.
Okay. What are okay. And then just check in. Okay, it's not want to do that either. Gotcha. Da, da, da. Okay, so we'll work through this a little bit at a time here. Noon, you head for the post office. You'll wait in line for a couple minutes. Not a big deal. Get up to the counter. They want 2 silver to mail the pair of letters off to their respective destinations. Postage due, but otherwise they we'll do our best to get it there as quick as we can.
What's the
And,
postage?
it's a silver apiece.
All right.
And then so from there you can head out to do your best to locate either group or venture off into some other uncharted territory as you would prefer. Gregory and Garnet, you head out to the hospital. They are still very busy.
I think only one of us is physically here right now. So you might want to go to the other group.
Oh, I didn't see that come across in chat. I'll be right back to this. Gotcha. So yeah, we'll jump to the other group then and circle back in a moment. So Care and Amir, you are,
And Cricky. Cricky's also there.
and Criggy is sort of being a polite accompaniment spy. I don't know, depends on your flavor, I guess. To the situation, the 2.5 of you are exploring the town, trying to see if you can find anywhere that looks like it might be a little bit sketchy. Just trying to see if there's anywhere that might fit what you're hoping to. Killing me with chat. I'm like, oh, there's messages. I click over and I'm like, never mind.
It must be important.
Nope.
It must be important. Oh no, it's just be like fucking dunking on the other players.
Yeah, always super good.
The colonizers.
So go ahead and make what do I want for this? Let's say perception check to kind of like gauge the neighborhood and see if you can spot anybody that might be worth flagging down or trying to ask questions of, I guess.
Should we do
What's Amir's modifier?
+8. I have my expertise.
Cricky's gonna give Amir the help action.
I was gonna say, can I provide assistance and then give advantage?
You can either roll them separate, or one of you can roll with advantage. That's standard issue.
Definitely take that +8 with advantage then.
All right. First one's up is an 18. Second one is a 20.
Okay. So you're working your way through the neighborhoods, and you eventually find a bit of side street that seems a bit up your alley for this particular kind of objective. And you're looking around, scoping people out, stuff like that, and Kara kind of points out a couple of people here and there, and you kind of like, no. But they're doing the best they can she's doing the best she can to help you, and eventually you spot a couple of people coming out of like a local dive kind of a thing, a little boisterous, a little celebratory, given the significant sort of, I don't want to use the word tragedy, but major event that just occurred in the city. Things have generally been somewhat solemn the following day, but they're a little more raucous and nonchalant about things, which throws up enough of a red flag that you're
Suspicious.
like, hey, let me maybe go knock that up a bit more.
All right, so obviously I nod to Care and step over. How many of them are there?
There is a trio of them, and
Uh,
they're just like they're not sort of like talking smack about the keep or anything overly blatant, but they seem more jovial than you would expect given the circumstances, I guess would be the way to phrase it.
So approaching, I kind of raise my arms in like a friendly gesture and a greeting, and kind of say, "Friends, tell me, what has you so elated? I'm honestly, all this business that's been going on, I'm just looking for something to relax, and clearly you found the perfect thing. What exactly can get one so happy?"
Fucking narc.
Yeah, make a persuasion check.
My persuasion is a
I
thing.
I hope you nat one.
Cheers.
He's gonna
I need
give the help action.
Oh, I did get
I was
that
originally
one.
going to help people well.
Luckily, before it popped up, I said Cricky's giving the help actions roll. Please roll again.
Karen's just looking like quietly, just silently, kind of menacing, and just kind of shakes her head.
Yeah, being very very sure. Well, the most charismatic that this raven can be, they are doing their best to be like
You know how like
I don't
people
want to
use
use
their
that
dogs.
particular example, but
Just a charming raven.
It's-
Like,
How
all
people
the
use their
fools.
dogs to
Yeah,
start a
it does.
conversation. It's like that with the raven.
I think Cricky was going in for the help action, but instead saw how bad that went over, and then just imitated the sound of Misty Step and flew away.
just like nope, I'm bailing on this. I'm just gonna.
But oh no, he's. I can't.
Ricky, why
I
are you
can't.
here? Shakes his head.
Oh, that's yeah. You did call for it before the roll came through, so I will allow that
Yeah.
if you want to
Yeah.
roll a second time. But I do
think
love
this
that
is-
you're just like nat one.
Please.
I'm
Please
a
roll
witch
again.
and
Okay, not substantially better.
A little better.
Um,
I mean, 10 better.
Yeah. It's
Less likely to get him murdered.
yeah. A couple of them look at you kind of sideways, like, "What are you doing in this part of town? You're clearly not from this neighborhood," kind of a thing. But they're if we just had a spot of breakfast, if you want to. It's the best food within a couple of blocks of here. This is where you want to go. That's just having a good morning. Look at how beautiful the day is. Weather's great. Sun's shining. It's gonna be a good day.
Care is just gonna sigh, and she's just gonna put her one hand on top of Amir, and just kind of pull them back and step past, and then reach into a pocket, pull out 10 gold. Gold for information if you got it.
Already told you where to have breakfast. What more information do you need on a day like this?
She's gonna pull out the drawing of the symbol, the broken chain symbol,
Mhm.
and show it to them. And in Undercommon, she's gonna say, I have a fight with these guys. Show them, or tell me where to find them, and I'll sweeten the pot.
Where to find who? All I've seen is a drawing of a useless chain. Looks like it's been busted in half.
You don't recognize the symbol?
Nope, doesn't ring a bell. It doesn't ring a bell for either. Nope, never seen it before. Seems like a weird
All
symbol to
right.
me.
All right, and she's just gonna toss him the 10 coin then.
They catch it, and that was easy. Anything else we can tell you we don't know?
Can I make an insight? Would I be able to? Sorry, I didn't think about this till now. Would I be able to have made an insight check while they were talking?
Yeah.
I'd like to do the same if that's possible.
Yeah. You're engaged in this. That's
So, because of my subclass, I do also have advantage. So how would I get advantage on that, or because we've both done a roll? So
if you have advantage on
negate
it,
it.
you get advantage on it.
Roger that. That's something nice. What's my plus?
Okay.
23.
We will have to make sure that we get you set up with beyond 20 like everybody else, so that you don't have to
Yeah.
manually enter them in every time like that. But you you pick up that not the one that you've mainly been talking to, but one of the side ones are like, yeah, no, I've never seen it before, I don't know anything about it. There's at least some semblance of recognition to it. When the like no was very clearly feigned in.
What's the guild's sort of policy on armed interrogation of citizens?
This is why you're not allowed to talk to people.
That's not.
I think maybe we should oppress the English more.
At this point, Cricky's about halfway across town, just like.
A mage hand just pops up and just over their mouth, just bump.
That was just an out of character question for me, so that I know not to make any.
Imagine saying that would have been out loud.
My suggestion still stands.
I'm imagining what the guild doesn't know won't hurt them.
So technically, that's true. Generally speaking, unless you're on like an approved guild quest where it's a necessary part of completing your assignment, that kind of thing is frowned upon, as it potentially reflects badly on the guild to just randomly go around breaking fingers, dislocating joints, being that sort of person.
Just
But
take off your guild symbols. They'll never know.
I have an alternative plan. That's fine.
But yeah, so
All right.
the organization as a body is lawful neutral. They're not strictly lawful good, but they lean that way. Yeah, basically. So yeah, that's kind of your guideline or your guardrail or guide rail, however you want to term it.
Care is just gonna back up with Amir and let them start walking off. And she's just gonna be like, one of them was definitely lying.
Yes. I caught that
I'm
too.
I'm thinking we follow him till he's alone. And then we see what he knows.
I think that's a brilliant idea. I had the same one myself.
And I'm thinking the less the guild knows about this, the better.
No, that sentence I agree with wholeheartedly.
Alright. So we are now stalking this one person.
Okay. So I will need stealth from both of you and survival from at least one of you to attempt to track him without giving away the fact that you're following this guy.
Could I, as opposed to making the survival check to track him, could I just turn invisible, cast invisibility, and follow him closer, so that we can not have to make that sort of survival check? Because I'm assuming that would be because we're quite a ways back to avoid him spotting us.
Mhm.
Or would it still be required?
If you turn yourself invisible, you could follow close enough to where you wouldn't. The DC to track him would be extremely low, but it's still like a bustling city. You have to make sure you don't lose them in the crowd, kind of a thing. But I would drive the DC down on the survival check.
Okay, then I'll definitely do that. So I will cast invisibility. Can I cast? So I can cast invisibility at 2nd level due to my Blessing of the Moonweaver. So does that mean that I can? Oh no, that has to be 3rd level. Never mind. It's only 2nd level, so I can't cast it on Care as well.
Yeah, no,
You
have
see-
to go up to 3rd to get 2 people.
What you see with Care is she hasn't really used this. She's only really used it before, but you see her kind of pull out the cloak that's wrapped around her, and then she pulls the hood over, and suddenly she seems to be a lot harder to find, especially when she steps in the shadows or against somewhere where there might be a little more terrain, because that cloak of Elvenkind is really nice for stealth.
We have the same cloak.
They're samesies.
Twinsies.
We've got like similar cloaks, so Amy does much the same. And then casts invisibility.
Here's what I imagine. You both like, that guy's clearly lying, and then you both like same time, and then just start following him.
Oh, I love that.
Real Scooby-Doo hours here.
So, you are invisible. You are following super duper close. Do you have a way to keep Care in, like, in communication to make sure, like, you rolled your own survival check to sort of follow the guy, so that'll
Yes.
be fine.
Oh, I need to roll my survival.
Yeah.
I have message. So she's just gonna keep talking. She can use that to keep talking back and forth with them, then communicate.
Okay. So as you like turn corners and things, you're like, okay, we made a left. Okay, we made a right, to kind of keep tabs to sort of daisy chain the stalking. And you follow for a while, and eventually the other 2 split off from them. They go off to do, head to their day job or whatever it is that they're off to go do. And he is alone, and you're looking for a side street or something quiet where you could yank him into a dark alley and punch him in the face, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Sounding
very
really
much so.
sketchy. I hope you know that.
Yeah. Well, that's
There's a very good reason we did this without the cleric.
that's a
Just when playing a lawful good character, okay.
so that was a nat 100. So you do eventually find a sort of dark, shady alley off of a side street where he's oddly alone. There's like a gap in the crowd where he's just mysteriously all by himself, and you seize the opportunity and yank him. Why do all my campaigns go this way? The other campaign also had a penchant for enhanced interrogation in the early sessions, where we work through those problems, or those tendencies. I don't want to call them problems. Work through those tendencies. But what we're gonna do here, it's close to the halfway point. We're gonna take our midway break. When we come back, we'll cut to Gregory and Garnet at the hospital, and then we'll come back to your inquiry with this gentleman that you
Polite question.
wrangled into a dark alley by force. So we are going to take a few minute break here, people. We'll see you back in just a few minutes, and yeah, we'll keep going from there. Thanks, everybody. There's a mid break, and audio is Okay, we are back, everybody. Thank you for your patience as we took a little break. We are back in the city here where we left off. Care and Amir have just sort of yanked a fellow into an alleyway with intent to further question him on the symbol that they've gleaned out of the gem that Gregory found. And we did a cut away from them to Garnet and Gregory, who were visiting the hospital to try to see if they could get information out of the witnesses, anything to find of like how it happened, what happened, more details than what they have at the moment. Doing a bit of investigatory follow up on that front. So you and I do not have that. Okay. So you pop into this hospital, which I should have anticipated you potentially doing that. I cleared that map out to make room for other maps because I only have so much storage space. I'm gonna have to upgrade to the pro account myself here. But anyway, the you go into the hospital. It's still busy. There's quite a bit of care and treatment going on, trying to deal with the influx of patients. There isn't the steady stream of incoming patients anymore. It's settled down to the people that are here. But there's still a lot of healing going on in various places, both standard and magical as they can muster it. So you can check in at the front desk and kind of bug the nurse on duty. Trying to think of what the proper terminology is. I can't think of it right now. But sort
The
of like
RA
the head nurse on duty
or no RN?
running the desk, and sort of open it up from there.
I walk up to the head nurse and just say, "Sorry, I know you're busy. Can I possibly speak to some of the patients who are well about the fire? I think I have a lead about possibly finding out who did this."
You were here yesterday, weren't you?
I was helping out with healing spells, and when I ran out, physical help.
She kind of molds it over. All right. Try to keep it brief. There's this is we've got a lot going on. A lot of people moving around. We're not really taking visitors at the moment. But keep it brief. Follow up where you need to, and move along if you don't mind. And she'll kind of.
Gregory just sort of awkwardly shuffles behind Garnet.
Thank you very much.
I'm with her.
Yeah, thank you so much. I understand. I will be as considerate as I can.
All right. So you kind of move through the different wards, right? The hospital is a couple of floors. The sort of ER is on the bottom level, obviously the most urgent care, and then they've moved people to higher floors as they've been stabilized or just need to kind of sleep off whatever sort of regenerative healing that they've been given. Like I said, either traditional medicine or magical in means, depending on the severity, are up on the higher decks. So the head nurse directs you up a couple floors. You go up a few flights. You check in at the duty desk for that floor, and they let's see, what do they do?
I have a thought. Something that I can ask.
Sure.
Can I ask the head nurse if anybody had come in from the fire with a shard of ruby embedded into them, like it got blasted into them?
Don't be smart. We don't like intelligence here.
That's oddly specific. It would take some time to go through the notes for something like that. I'll if you're okay with not getting an immediate answer, I can have someone do that. But we're a little short.
No, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Okay with it taking a little time.
Okay. Da, da, da. So the nurse on that floor that you head up to points out 3 people who seem somewhat well off enough that they could have a chat. They've been pretty well knocked around, so there's not a whole lot of people who are up the next day raring to go. But there's at least a couple, and they kind of point you in their general directions. So as you, let me see here. Okay. As you come around, let's get ready to. Never mind. Lost my place. Got confused. Yeah. As you kind of come around to where they direct you to different room numbers and things, you have 3 people that you can potentially talk to. There is a young halfling woman. There is an elvish gentleman, and then there is a human guy. That's your 3 people to potentially chat up and follow up with. So.
Do you have a particular preference for who we should speak to first?
I was thinking maybe the halfling.
Sounds good to me. I walk over to the room number and knock on the door.
And you get sort of a low volume. Yes. What is it? I'm doing okay right now. I don't need any nurse's aid at the moment.
No, that's not why we're here. We're just here to ask a couple questions. Yesterday.
Questions? Are you with the city guard?
We're with the guild. We're just we think we have a lead on how the fire started, and we want to get it sorted. We were hoping that you might have some information for us.
What kind of information?
Do you mind if we come in?
Sure, yeah.
Gregory will
open the.
Gregory will probably hang back closer to the door while Garnet probably gets a bit closer to the halfling, I assume.
I love the fact that we're expecting the half orc to be the good cop in this. Just like, yeah, I'm really tough, but I also have helped heal so many people in this hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of indicate behind me to try and get Gregory to shut the door behind him. And then I sit in a chair next to her bed to make me look a bit less big and scary. And I try and smile at her, but obviously, you know, I'm half orc, I've got fangs. And I say, so where specifically were you when the tower went up in flames? Just to try and help establish a timeline.
I was in bed. I was doing some late night reading when like everything just went to hell in a handbasket on us. It's why I was able to get out before things got really, really bad. I got lucky. I was already half awake. It, you know, the 1 minute everything's fine. You know, and then all of a sudden there was a crash from above, and then the fire roared. Like, it was bizarre. It almost literally roared. I never heard a sound like it, as it just ripped through the upper levels of the keep. And then I scrambled out of my room as soon as I heard it, and then there was just fire everywhere. It came on so fast. I'm not even sure how to describe it. It was just, it's like it had a will of its own. It just tore through the building.
I'm really sorry you had to go through that. I saw it from the outside and it was awful. I don't even want to think what it would have been like on the inside.
Yeah.
Did you notice
Sorry.
anything before it started? Anything out of the ordinary? Anyone that shouldn't have been there?
No, not that I can think of. Like I said, I was in my room doing some late night reading. I didn't really know what happened until I opened the door and it was just fire. I don't know. I'm afraid I didn't see anything suspicious like that, or anyone out of place like that. It was just, we were in a mad scramble to get out as many people as we could, and we weren't checking faces.
Thank you. That's been really helpful. I hope your recovery goes well.
Thank you.
That's all.
I like I said, I got off light compared to a lot of the others, so I'm more worried about most of them.
Don't worry, I was pulling shifts all yesterday here in the hospital and helping out as we got people out of the tower. So I did see. But thank you very much. It must have been hard to talk through it again.
Yeah, I hope it helps some way. I wish I had seen more for you. I just you know.
You've done more than enough. You got out. That's the main thing. Thank you. And then I stand up and sort of gesture towards the door.
Open the door back
I'll
up.
I'll leave you to your rest. Thank you. And then sort of shepherd Gregory out, who's been very quiet.
Hey, look, I'm not so great with the whole, I'm more so I can look at things and be like, I'm pretty perceptive. I can investigate some things. Comforting hurt people, not really my forte. That's more your forte.
I'm a forge cleric. I'm not meant to be doing medicine.
Nobody's forte.
The only reason I'm so good at it is because I'm so used to burn injuries. That's all I'm good at.
I hit things hard and I think things good.
So, B.
Yeah.
Or Noon, sorry. Once you finish up at the post office, because it doesn't take you all day to knock that out, where are you headed? You had discussed with everybody who was going where. You know the physical location of the hospital, but the other two were just kind of looking for shifty people, which is a little more nebulous. So do you want to go looking for them, or do you want to go where the people are?
I'm gonna go find the people who are looking for shifty people, because I have a niggling feeling that they might be doing stupid stuff.
I think at this point, Noon just sees Cricky flying the opposite direction.
Entirely possible.
Okay, roll a D100 for me.
Gotcha. Give me a second. Where's... Oh, I don't have my mouse. I didn't realize that I forgot to take my mouse out. Oh well. 58.
Okay. So that will factor into how long it takes you to find them and in what state you come across them in. And we'll resolve that.
Hope they got mugged.
We'll resolve that here shortly.
Watch me end up accidentally getting them mugged, just like I accidentally had you nat one.
They were super duper stealthy, so the odds of them walking into an ambush would be unbelievably low. Like, what are the odds of that possibly happening?
Uh-oh.
No.
I'm like,
but we'll...
I know that tone, Kim.
Yeah. We'll make that cut back and resolve that in a minute. So you are still in the hospital. You are moving on to person number 2.
Is the elf, I believe.
Yes, it is the elf next on our
Okay. So you're working away.
I'll knock this time.
I've just got a physical list, like, it's just written down room numbers.
You knock on the second door, and you hear a very sort of like gruff and belligerent voice ring out as the sound of a bedpan hitting the door, the other side of the door rings out. It's just like, come on, discharge me already, damn it, I'm fine. Like, they're not in the best of moods.
I'm gonna say I'll take the lead on this one.
I was gonna say I can help with that. I
Yeah.
can actually do medical stuff. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Besides,
all right,
I'm stronger than you. I think I can tank a bedpan.
I've got an 18 strength.
I have 19 strength.
Still the same plus. Effectively the same score.
So, letting yourselves into the room.
No, I do sort of like, hey, yeah, buddy, just gonna ask a quick couple of questions here. Maybe they'll help you get out of here quicker.
Questions? Who the hell are you? What the hell are you doing in my room? What is this?
We work with the guild. We're trying to find out who caused the fire, and we've got a few leads, so we thought we'd ask about.
Great. What are the leads? Tell me where to go. Tell me who to fight. Like, he's ready to go. He's like,
I'm sorry.
Let's do this.
If I knew who to fight, I would already be there.
No, we're just trying to see if anybody saw what happened and who started the fire. We're not insinuating that you started the fire at all. Don't worry. We're just trying to see if anybody saw anything sort of out of the ordinary.
Would I have been better with the elf in here with me?
Maybe.
Debatably.
I'm new at this.
Incredibly doubtful, given that the elf already committed a microaggression.
That's true.
So you ask your questions, and it's kind of like, well, I didn't see a whole lot. I was in the lower levels. The fire started up above, up in the stables area. I didn't get to see who started it, or I'd already be chasing after him. But it started from the top of the tower and just sort of like ripped through towards where we were, towards the living areas. It was tremendous. The heat was just substantial. I don't know what to make of it, but we tried throwing water on it, and the fire just got bigger, and it didn't back down. And everything we tried to throw at it, it just wasn't stopping. And we just started grabbing people out of beds and grabbing them out of rooms and evacuating as quick as we could.
Now, you seem to be pretty up and spry. How come you even got brought here in the first place?
The stupid smoke. They wanted to keep me overnight for checking me out, make sure because I had like a cough when we were evacuating. They wanted to make sure everything was fine.
I'm gonna roll an insight. That one. Is that all right?
Yeah, you can roll an insight if you want to.
All right. Well.
So you can tell that he's putting on a bit of a brave face. He's covered by like bedding, and you can see him kind of shuffling underneath it a little bit as he gives his smoke excuse. Like, yeah, no, I just had a bit of a cough, shaking it off, we're good. Yeah. But you can see him kind of shuffling under the blankets a little bit.
Oh,
see.
a little sneeze. Oh, sorry. I thought I was muted. No, one of my ferrets sneezed. I was not talking about the man who was like suffering from smoke inhalation.
Smoke inhalation and possible third-degree burns.
He's got like smoke. He's got like damage to his lungs. Aw, a little bit of a cough. It's okay.
Okay. Anything else? Follow-up questions you have for him? Or?
Have you seen this symbol before? And I sort of show yet another copy of the little broken chain.
Thinking. He's trying to recollect as best he can. Gives you a why do you think they're the ones who did this? Is that what that was? Is that what that is?
It's one of several leads. Just straight up lie to him. He doesn't need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't seen it quite like that. I saw the bandits that attacked us the other day, the sort of the banner they were flying under had that similar broken chain symbols on it. It didn't look quite like that one though, but
Well, we consider this more of a recreation based off of some incomplete puzzle pieces.
but yeah, it was all the banner and their shields and things. It was all about broken chains. I don't know.
I swear to God,
question them.
if we find out that these are like like freed slaves that are like trying to take down like traffickers, I'm gonna be so mad that we're going against them. I'm telling you this now.
I mean, I would also be angry, so I join in that.
I don't think any of us would be very plussed, actually.
To be fair, I would also be very angry. So take that as your own.
If you found out that you accidentally were like.
But yeah, anything else you would like to ask him?
Oh, actually, I think that was almost exactly what we were looking for. Thank you so much, and we'll try to see about getting you out of here. What's your name, by the way?
And then turn and leave. Trying to find the last person.
So his name was Marger.
Marger.
Yeah.
Margarine.
I was thinking like Major.
Oh. I was thinking margarine.
Either way.
All right. I'd say we're doing pretty well. How do you think the other guys are going?
I get the feeling it's not going quite this easily for them.
I don't know. They wait. They're talking to people.
Yeah, from what I've seen of your friend, I really don't think that was the best plan for him, and I don't think it was. Care can at least intimidate people.
Look. At least Cricky's with them. Cricky.
Is like when Cricky flies in through the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is exactly when Cricky flies in through the window.
It is exactly when he flies through the window. Like you're.
You could have warned me that you were gonna do that.
Yeah, finishing up the conversation and like excusing yourselves from the room, you hear like a tap on the window, and you're like, "Is that my Raven or a different Raven?"
And I communicate telepathically with Cricky. I'm like, all right, Cricky, what happened?
Cricky's just like, the social anxiety. Secondhand embarrassment.
He's just like, it did not go well.
Oh, we need them, Cricky. 5 minutes.
Ymir opened his mouth again.
But we will go ahead and cut to the enhanced questioning intense
Maybe.
intense questioning that is going on off in this quiet alleyway down here with Care and Amir.
So I'm assuming you pulled him in, then. Okay.
Yes, that is the idea. We pulled him in. Probably down a dark alleyway, pinned him up against a wall. You know, at least one of us has some weapons out. Care's got her mage hand going, but it looks all. She has her mage hand out, but it looks like the chill touch mage hand, so it's like a skeleton.
Mhm.
So like her arm, I don't know if you guys really know this. So basically, her arm ends about here at this point, so where my sleeve is, and basically from there down, it's just a skeleton mage hand. And she just points the finger at him, and she's like, "I know you lied. You're gonna tell me the truth, and we're gonna make you a little richer for it, or you can keep lying, and bad things are gonna start to happen."
Okay. So as you kind of like shove him into the wall initially, you get like a whoa, hey, what is this? What are you doing? I didn't do nothing. I'm just walking down the street. I never hurt nobody. Or no, my mom's gonna wait. Like, just starts rambling off 1,000,003 excuses for why they shouldn't be in this alley right now. And they're just, my mom's homesick and the kids are starving and I just need to get bread for the like I just what like complete stammer stumble of. So.
Amir obviously drops the invisibility, puts like a hammer in one hand and a crowbar in the other, and just stands there with them.
So you
heard the question.
Put across your initial questions, like to interrupt that stammer stumble of rambling, begging almost, to like, just let me go. I didn't do nothing to nobody. I never heard nobody. They're like, lie about what? I didn't lie about nothing. I don't know that you did. It takes a second for them to even realize that the two of you are the two of you.
I assume they still have their hoods up while they're starting this,
which would
so
make
it's
it
hard
infinitely harder.
Care's gonna read Care, so she's got the one hand. She's gonna pull back her hood, and then she's gonna pull out the paper with the chain. "I know you have information on this. Who is this? Where can we find them?"
What? Huh? But you don't know what you're talking about. I told you I'd never seen it before in my life. This is just scandalous. You singling me out. I feel just, this is just cruel and unusual. I don't know who you are or why you're here or what you're doing. This is just ridiculous.
If you find it cruel, then why not answer our questions and be done with it?
Like,
Kim's just thinking down through.
Yeah. Well, and things and stuff.
If you help us, you'll walk off a little richer as well.
Help how? What do I know? I'm just a person. I just walking down the street. I didn't. What do you think? I'm not some schemer. I don't know nothing about anything. Nobody tells me anything.
What do you? You know more than you know more than nothing. We know that. I know that was very confusingly worded.
I didn't follow any of that.
Stumped him slightly.
We know you know something.
Something. What something? What do you need to know? What is this? Like, what is this even about?
Earlier, when we showed you the symbol, there was a hint of recognition that we both picked up on. So, all you need to do is tell us exactly why you recognize this and what exactly it is.
The scroll with the symbol is now unrolled in a little hand.
It's like, well, I mean, I don't know what it is. I do. It's a broken chain link. Ugh.
We
I
know they were part of the attack.
what the keep it the Griffin keep the fire that was an attack.
Yes, but what's more important is, whilst you say you may not recognize this specific symbol, does it remind you of another, something similar?
Have
Perhaps?
you seen it anywhere?
Not a symbol. It and then kind of fuddy about a little bit.
There, that is exactly how we know that you know something.
I noticed the other day in the market there was a guy who had a broken chain link hanging off his belt, and it seemed like the weirdest thing. Like, why would you hang a broken chain link off your belt? I pointed it out to my buddy, and he's like, I don't know, it looks pretty stupid to me, and we just kind of shrugged it off. But it caught my eye, and then I saw the broken chain, and it made me think of the dude with the on his belt. I don't.
You say this was in the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When?
A day or two ago, something like that.
Can you describe this man? Was he bearded? Was
Can you describe him for us good enough that we can find him again?
Yes, that, precisely that, exactly that. Well put.
Memory is looking very fuzzy. Like I don't
Kara's
know.
Kara's gonna pull out 20. Fair enough. Kara's gonna pull out 20 gold. Will this help your memory a little?
I'd love it if they just said no. No. Why? Why would it do that?
No, just a dumbass.
Oh, we're doing great things for the local economy.
Yeah.
So much influx of gold to the lower class.
An infusion of.
This is trickle down economics at its finest.
At its finest.
He lets you know it's like I'm not trying to shake you down. I wasn't. It was just a random thing that caught my eye. I didn't really take stock of the guy. I looked decently well off. It might have been like a merchant or something for all I know. It was shopping like we were. Trying to think of like yeah, like well off looking guy, didn't seem to be from around here. He was asking questions about places to eat and places to go, some sort of traveling merchant or something maybe. But I didn't really.
Did you overhear any of the places that he was recommended to go eat or stay? Did you know any of those, or?
Well, I didn't really bother listening for recommendations. I live here. I know where I eat.
Fair enough.
But somebody who looked that well off, more than likely they're staying at the Elias Inn. It's where those kinds of fancier folks stay. They wouldn't be caught dead in our neighborhood.
Well, I have one more question. Have you ever heard of the Chosen of Kelemvor?
Can't say it rings a bell, no. Is that who this chain thing belongs to?
No, that's something unrelated. I just thought I might as well ask.
Kara subtracts 10 gold from the group in her hand and hands 10 gold over. For services rendered. Now, we never talked, have we?
Who?
Exactly. And she just lets him go.
I'd love if he just didn't understand at all. Like, I don't know if these people are asked what.
So that
Does
wasn't.
this jog your memory? No.
That wasn't overly beleaguered. So sort of as you're getting ready
A
to
lot
kind of
better
like,
than I was worrying about.
yeah. As you're sort of mopping up and sort of letting him off the wall and shoving him out back into the street. You shove him directly into Noon, who was heading in sort of down the street. You sort of shove out and into the side of Noon. It's like, what the hell? Oh, hey, that's you guys. If that had gone on a little bit longer, you would have happened to spot them in the middle of the interrogation, but it was wrapped up a little bit faster than I was expecting. So you get there just in time to get the interrogatee shoved into your shoulder, just like, what the hell, dude?
What were you guys doing?
Having a friendly chat.
I really don't believe that with you.
Friendly
He's not
enough.
injured. Yeah.
Did you learn anything?
Quite a bit, I'd say. Some well-off, potentially a merchant individual, was seen with a broken chain link hanging off his belt, which is, as our new friend here said, who has now wandered off, a very interesting piece of apparel or accessory, however you want to define it. It doesn't really matter, but individuals such as that one would probably be spotted in the, what did he call it? The Elias Inn, was it?
Elias Inn.
That's the one. So I think we should search for this individual there, personally.
Did he say anything about how the person looked? Because, I mean, you can always take off a belt.
That's true. He said the dude looked like a merchant. Now, my idea of a merchant would be a bearded fellow, middle-aged, merchant-y, with a backpack, maybe.
He wasn't that helpful.
No, he wasn't.
But we have enough for a hunt.
No, we really don't, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Well, maybe with the information that the others have gathered, we can corroborate and find this merchantman, or whatever. I think.
Alright. Okay.
I think the others said they were going to the hospital. Sorry.
Did they say where, or did the guy say where he saw the merchant?
In the market.
Alright. Did he say, like, where in the market? Like, what stall he was near, or?
Wandering around, apparently.
Asking for places to eat or stay.
Okay. I think we should stop by the market and see if anyone remembers him. Unlikely, given the size of the market and the fact that people who work in retail meet a bunch of people and have gotten to the point where they have zoned out and don't remember faces or names at all. But hey.
Well, maybe he asked to buy something really weird, and maybe they remember him for that.
Exactly.
It happens.
Most people don't forget. Most people notice someone walking around with a piece of broken chain as well. It's very unforgettable, as it is unnecessary.
At this point, I put the crowbar and the hammer away, just trying to make sure that no one really notices them.
You had those out? I didn't.
I love how just New walked in, crowbar, hammer. What did you do?
Actually, I have another idea as well.
Is it anything like this idea?
Does it require a crowbar or a hammer?
Potentially. We're gonna need a piece of chain, though.
How big?
I love that you could just see his spirit leaving her body.
Enough to hang it off my belt.
Oh, then I'm afraid I don't have enough.
Is Cat going undercover?
I think so.
That is a
Potentially.
terrible idea.
Sometimes to hunt a prey, you must become the prey.
I'm gonna say,
There's certainly going to be some praying involved.
So, before if they're gonna head to the market, then Kara's just gonna pick up a chunk of chain for her potential idea.
I think we
Depending
should
on how things go. Otherwise, she has a chunk of chain to tie people up
I have
with, potentially.
I the player have something to say, but I don't think I should say it until Gregory is there.
Yeah.
Well, isn't the market is quite close to the hospital, isn't it?
Well, there's
Should be
two.
right.
There's a South Market, which is close to where you are, and then there's
Oh,
a
yes.
North Market that is close to the hospital.
Did the person say which market he saw? No, he probably saw it at South Market since.
I was gonna say, doubt.
He's down here anyway. He didn't
Yeah.
look. He wasn't the kind of person that would go to the north.
All right. So time to explore the South Market and ask around.
Maybe we should wait until we meet up with the others first, because they might have more information.
Why? You've already done terrible things.
We haven't done anything illegal. Have we done anything illegal? I don't think we have.
I mean,
just questioning a man, that's not illegal.
At Crowbar
if you
Point.
count, I mean, if you count
We're good.
bribery illegal.
Nah, I don't think bribery is
There's
illegal.
been plenty of bribery.
We've been pretty good so far.
Yeah. Went better than the conversation with the Dragonborn that I had earlier, so...
Yeah, you know that was a little racist, right?
Look, it brought back some bad memories. Of
I
the
understand. It's just as long as you
It's-
understand.
time- No, I mean, I didn't mean it that way. It was just it was an accident. I guess that's the best I have to go on.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. What are we gonna do then? We got Noon wants to go to the market. I think we should meet up with people. So it's your call now.
What sort
Split the
of
time.
time is it? What sort of time of day is it?
It's realistically, it's probably like a late lunch, early afternoonish kind of time.
I think we should go to the market, if I'm completely honest. I think we've got plenty of the day left, and we can always come back. If someone's looking for a place to stay, they're not going to stay for one night and then leave.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
They might, but that would be a bit odd.
Market it is.
Okay, so you are going out to the market, and
So
get rid of that for right
I
now.
also want to do some shopping as well. Considering that we're at the market, I might as well.
Right.
I think I would like to grab some chain myself. I think that you had a good idea, and I think if we have more than one chain, that would be helpful.
Okay, so this is, you guys can see this map now, right? You're on in the market.
Yes.
Okay, that's courtesy neutral parties Patreon. Yay for maps. Like to try to make sure I always show who made it when I borrow it from somewhere else. So you are in this market space. It's decently busy. It's a little bit quieter than it would be on a normal day, given the recent events. Things are a little unsettled. It's not quite business as usual, but it's a big city. Life still keeps chugging along. So there is some activity in the market. Most of the stalls are doing business. There's just not quite as much through traffic as they would normally expect to see on a day.
I guess our first port of call would be procuring some chains. Then we could ask some questions, I suppose.
Sounds good.
Sure. I just feel like we should know what kind of chain he had, because it's entirely possible that they have a specific coding involving the chain type and the chain, like the metal makeup of the chain, or it's entirely possible they stick entirely to one type.
I don't think we'll find much variety of chain in this market, to be honest.
But he didn't. I don't think he bought the chain in this market. Is the thing. I just think that we should know more before we try to infiltrate. Because
Then we should question first, then, surely?
yeah, let's explore a little. Ask people. Ask around. Ask if anyone noticed him. I'm not about to get got. I know better.
Cooler heads prevail. So you poke around the market a bit, ask around at some stalls. What's kind of your line of questioning? Like, have you seen a merchant fellow? Because I don't think that's going to get you very specific.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, merchant. Have you seen a merchant?
No,
I see like 5 right now.
Yeah.
How would Carwood? What would be a good way to do this? Maybe we found some lost documents? No. Because then he might start looking for us.
Is that a bad thing?
So I was thinking we're just looking for I would say we're just looking for a merchant. Like the idea would be we were asking is we're looking for a merchant, very well off. The most notable feature about him was that he had a broken chain attached to his belt for seemingly no reason.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to start with the questioning.
That's the idea of the question that we're asking.
Okay, one more time for me? Because I was reading something.
Sorry, no problem. So the idea of the question we're asking for a well-off merchant might have been seen asking, for recommendations about places to eat. The weirdest thing about he was kind of weird because he had this piece of broken chain that just seemed to hang from his belt for no reason.
Okay. Let's see. That's not so bad. So it takes a little while. You kind of work your way through the market, trying not to be excessively blatant about it.
Overly conspicuous?
Yeah.
I think I should be the one to ask. I would like to roll.
Oh yeah, no.
persuasion.
If any questions ever actually have to be asked, no, Noon is the one who is talking for sure.
Would you like me to roll deception or persuasion? Or charisma or something? What y'all need from me?
Roll just a general charisma for kind of how well you warm up to some of these merchants.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Nice.
So you're pretty personable. You chat them up, ask them how their day is going, what their wares are, that kind of small talky stuff to sort of warm them up and get them a little more open to conversation. You work your way stall to stall, kind of working through. Yeah, I know, members of the guild, we're splashing some cash, blah, blah, blah. You throw the usual kind of things that are going to get merchants on your side of it when it comes to being pliable. And unless you explicitly want to not mention the fact that you're guild members. That was an insert on my end, not yours. But otherwise,
Hello, handsome.
I think we wouldn't specifically imply that we're guild members, but we would imply it would be a big help to the investigation that is associated with the guild.
friends of the guild as opposed to guild members potentially.
Okay. That's fine. Like I said, I want to make sure I'm framing it as you would put it across. So you work your way from stall to stall. It takes a while. You're pushing closer to dinner time now. A few of the food vendors are still opening up for people that are grabbing last minute things for dinner, but most of the other vendors are starting to pack up and wrap up for the day. As they are, you do chat up a bookseller who it does ring a bell for them. Um, yeah, no, there was a merchant coming through. Bought a couple of light reads. It the it looked like they were hanging their money bag, their purse, off of a broken chain link. Yeah, it that caught my eye. You don't usually see those kinds of I guess I mean it's technically just a hook, but it was just weird because it was so distinctively a chain link.
Yeah.
Did they say where they were headed?
Not to me explicitly. I know what's his face a couple stalls down, and I thought I heard him recommend a couple of places. There's the restaurant that the Druids run. That's a hot spot for people that are new in town. Everybody's got to give that one a try. I know he recommended that to him for a supper, and then most of us we just default tell everybody to go to the Eliason if they can afford it. It's everybody knows it, everybody trusts it. It's standard fare. It's a reliable recommendation over picking and choosing bed and breakfasts and mom and pop inns and things like that. We just send everybody there.
Fair enough. So you said you bought a couple of light reads, correct?
Yeah. It was a friendly guy. Just was looking for a couple of things to read with his meal times and stuff like that. Said he'd already burned through his other books.
Did he end up selling you any of the books since he was done with them?
A couple, yeah. Let me see. It was just some light fiction things. He seemed to be one of those doesn't really dig into the heavy stuff. Yeah, pulls out a couple of like fiction titles, nothing overly weighty. It's kind of like a pulp read.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a couple of books, no big deal. Didn't think nothing of it. Why is there some sort of problem with them?
No, I was just curious because I know that I like to do the same thing, so I kind of wanted to know if that was standard or.
Oh, yeah, we buy and sell. Try to keep books in circulation as much as we can for people.
Do you have any extensive sort of historical books, more of like a note keeper's book at all of local lore or history, anything like that? Do you have any of those?
I've got some nonfiction kind of things. Are you looking for a specific topic or?
Just sort of the more sort of, I guess, folklore-esque records, anything history related, really. I'm just looking for some more sort of academic history, I suppose. That's what I'm really looking for.
So the kind of goes rifling through some books and eventually pulls out a tome, The Empire and Epic History. It's not It's an overview kind of level. It doesn't dig into a singular event in substantial depth, but um, it's sort of like a best of the history of the empire kind of a book. There's a few different chapters on a few different notable events and people and things of that sort in there. Is
That
that the kind of
looks.
thing you're looking for?
That would be one of the things I'm interested in. Perhaps to accompany this wonderful, I guess you would call it a tome. Do you have anything on the religions of the empire? Perhaps of various organizations.
No, I'm afraid I don't really trade too much in that sort of topic. The temples tend to most of their own reading material.
Well, very well. How much would this book be to purchase?
Okay, let's see here. He is looking to charge you 18 gold for it.
50 tome.
Like, well, it's in good condition. You can see. I mean, the cover is spotless. There's light wear. Nobody's dog-eared any of the pages. He gives you the salesman spiel on why it's worth that much. It's like it's in great shape. It'll definitely give you.
First edition, signed by the author.
Or it
I
will be if you hand it back over.
I pull out a holy symbol and say, "Do you think that a man of faith could get a slight, I suppose you could say, reduction, considering that these are trying times and, well, you know how it is for everyone?" Oh, would that be a persuasion check?
Yeah, go persuasion.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah. 18.
So I could let it go for 15.
Now you have yourself a deal right there.
All right then.
15. I hand over the 15 gold and nod and hand the conversation back over to the other two. Kind of step back a bit, kind of briefly rifling through the book and then depositing it back into my bag.
You wouldn't happen to have any,
Nope, we lost somebody.
oops. You wouldn't happen to have any, paper and ink for copying spells into, books, do you? From one spell book to another.
It's gonna be all shook up.
Fine paper and the magical ink.
Oof. I'm just a humble book dealer. I'm afraid spells are a bit beyond me.
Do you maybe know somewhere where I could find some?
Let's see. Something like that, you're definitely going to want the North Market if you're going to want something competitively priced. I know there is a vendor. They might be wrapped up for the day. They kind of direct you to a different section of the market where you may be able to find somebody who does trade in the South Market, but most of the magical components and those sorts of vendors tend to be in the North Market, where the more affluent neighborhoods tend to congregate. But there's at least one down here but like I said, they might have already packed up for the day. It's getting to that time.
Oh, one more question. You wouldn't happen to have a book about your Griffin Riders, would you? Maybe their history or something along those lines?
It's called How to Train Your Griffin.
The great kids book. It's very popular.
Yeah. I'm afraid
making a movie about
it. No. Nothing on that subject at the moment. I can keep my eyes open for it if it's something that you may circle back for, but at the moment I don't have it on hand.
Well, if you see something, I would appreciate it. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Okay. What am I gonna shoot, I'm trying to think here.
I'm sure Noon wanted to say something here, but
Yeah, they've vanished on us, and it's unfortunate. As this is unfolding in the market, what are the two of you leaving the hospital up to?
don't we
Or-
still have one more person that we can talk to?
There is,
A human.
if you would like to speak to them, you are welcome to.
I'd like to.
Okay.
Yeah, just to get a beat on them.
cover all bases.
Okay. We'll be done here in a few minutes, but you get step. We're jumping back to the other group, so that's fine. So yeah, we jump back to you guys. You can interview the last person.
Yeah, I'd like to interview the human.
So the gentleman there is. There you go. Chaos. Total chaos. Everyone's shuffled. I gotta figure out
It's
how
not
to.
D&D.
Sorry. My Wi-Fi.
There you go, it's
I
fixed.
don't know what's wrong with my Wi-Fi. I'll have to check it when we stop.
Yeah.
But did I at least get do you want an egg in before I vanished?
I didn't catch it. No.
Oh damn it! So someone said trying times, and I said, "Do you want an egg?"
Oh.
I was
Oh.
praying that wanted to get out before
I forgot about the reference, and when you first mentioned that, I thought you were like, "But you've already given away the griffin eggs. What do you mean? Why do you want to give one to the bookseller?"
But yeah. So
that would have been so beautiful, though. Just, do you want an egg? And then fucking zonk. Just dude it out.
No discount, only egg.
So Garnet and I go up to the room of the human.
yeah. Sorry. We'll try to get this last interview in, and then we'll wrap up there for the day because we're getting
I
pretty close.
knock on the door.
You do not get a response when you knock on this door.
Knock a bit louder.
Still no significant reply that you can actually let me take that back because Gregory, your
Sound of a
passive,
hatchet hits the back of the door.
your passive perception is decently high.
19.
Yeah, so
Thank you, Sentinel Shield.
you do pick up sort of like a very faint voice replying like, yeah, yes, what is it? But it's very soft from the other side of the door.
Yeah, hi, sorry. We just wanted to talk about what happened yesterday at the keep. Is it okay if we come in?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I open the door and try to get like a bead on what the situation is here. So like what the the state this person is in.
So this person is wrecked. They are bandaged basically head to toe. They were in the stables when everything roared to hell and back again.
That's where the other guy said the fire started.
Yeah. They are in stable condition, which is why the nurse directed you in their direction. But they are not okay. They're basically like crispy, to be blunt about it.
Hello, Sir Chris. Alright, I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, are you... Hold on, I can't do words.
First off, How are you feeling?
There we go. You've got words when I don't. There we go.
I've been better. Just try not to move much.
I don't
Right.
blame you.
No. Now,
Is it alright if we ask you some
Y-
questions about yesterday morning?
Yeah, I. What kind of questions? What are you doing here? What like?
We're trying to work out what happened, why the fire happened like it did. Did you see anything or hear anything before it started?
Dum. That's not so bad. That's pretty good. That's terrible. Okay. So you get want to make sure you hear me clearly, so I'm gonna kind of drop the muffled tone. Basically, he explains that he was in the stables, in the upper floor of the stables, and there, like, everything seemed fine. He was just doing some late night sort of cleaning out of some of the stalls, and all of a sudden there was a loud sort of like shattering of glass, and then the fire roared up around him, and all of a sudden it was just like everywhere all around him, and like the way it just it didn't explode, but it just engulfed everything in an instant.
that seems congruent with what we've heard from everybody else.
Do you recognize the symbol? Is it familiar to you in any way?
Um, it kind it kind of looks like the shield that the bandits were using in the attack the other day. This one's different though. Um,
This one we sort of pieced together through some sort of like a jigsaw puzzle.
yeah, but
We're kind of missing a bit.
kind of like that, yeah.
In what way does it look different?
Well, there's sections of it missing. The symbol that they had was ooh, excuse me, sorry, not that was not the cavalry rider. That was just me. It the symbol that the trying to think. You can see he's struggling a bit.
Okay, take your time.
There's a yeah, but it trying is best to be helpful. There was like a there's I don't know how to describe it. It was like a bull or something kind of horns were the ones doing the breaking of the chain. Wasn't just broken, it was being broken, kind of. It was it wasn't any banner I've ever seen before.
Thank you so much. That's really helpful.
That is very helpful. Thank you.
I think we should leave you to your rest now, but thank you so much for your help. I hope your recovery is swift. And then I sort of like leave the room awkwardly, like enough conversation for today.
It gives you
I just
a bit of a like. I hope you get them. I hope you get them all.
Thank
try.
you. So do I.
Nurse! Nurse! I need some salve.
But yeah, unless there was anything else you wanted to ask him, you excuse yourselves out of the room, and those were your questionings for the moment.
My big fear is that one of the people that we had talked to was one of the ones that started the fire, but I don't suspect any one of those three. How about you?
No, I don't think they were. They were helpful, but they weren't too helpful in the way that some people can get when they're in the wrong, and they weren't avoiding it either. I think they were all innocent of it.
They were definitely all rattled in their own way. I agree. Can I find the head nurse and see if any progress is made in finding somebody who like maybe got the shard of the ruby embedded in them?
I forgot you'd asked about that.
So on your way out, you do check in with the nurses station to see if they've turned up anything like that, and it said they basically gives you like, not that we found yet. It's a very specific thing you're looking for, and we've had a lot of patients come in here in the last 36 hours.
Understandable. It was a long shot, but
Yeah,
I think we did get the information that we needed.
yeah, nothing struck nothing struck a chord with anyone when I asked around if anybody had seen that kind of operation going on to remove something like that. Feel like that would have been something somebody might have taken note of, but I haven't turned up anything. Sorry.
Oh, like I said, it was a long shot. Probably just lost the piece. It's fine.
Okay. Anything else that you would like to squeeze into the last couple minutes of this session before we call it a day?
I turn to Gregory and say, "What sort of shenanigans do you reckon the others got up to?"
It could be anything. Honestly, I'm afraid that we've got some dislocated kneecaps, and I don't know if it's either theirs or somebody else's.
I doubt it's Cares. I'll give you much.
It wasn't the one I was worried about.
Wipe to the marketplace in the midst of a riot. Like, what did you do? I just insulted his shoes. Like, who knows with these people? They're crazy. But I feel like that's a decent place to call a timeout. So we will wrap the session up here. Thank you, as always, to my players for putting up with the shenanigans that I subject you to, and for another great session. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in with us this morning. Be sure to check out the Sunday night campaign that we have coming up later on today. I remembered to start with that one for once. And then, as always, we have Vow of the Keepers on Tuesday, which is set in this same homebrewed universe that I've cooked up here. And then we have campaigns on Wednesday nights, Friday nights, and Saturday nights as well. Be sure to give them a look. There's a lot of really fun stuff being played here on the channel. Again, have a great day, everyone, and we will see you back here next week. So, bye, everybody.
Have a good one.
Bye.